Galen Druk from ABC's 538 joins me live now for more on this. Galen, thanks for being here. You know, it's interesting. Senator Chuck Grassley, New York Governor Kathy Hochul, they were expected to cruise to victory. Why are these races so tight now, and are you seeing a pattern?
Look, I should say up front that we still expect both Grassley and Hochul to win re-election. But yes, we are seeing something of a pattern, and it's actually two distinct patterns. One is that in gubernatorial races, voters tend to be a little less partisan because they understand that senators or House members and governors have different jobs. You send Congress members to Washington to basically pull a lever, an R lever or a D lever, and they engage in some of the most peaked partisan battles in the country. But a governor is responsible for things closer to home, you know, infrastructure, roads, public safety, taxes, things like that. So we have seen over time that voters are more liable to switch parties, even in a blue state, and vote for, say, a Republican governor. You know, right now, Massachusetts, a very blue state, has a popular Republican governor. When it comes to Chuck Grassley, I think this is an issue of candidate quality. You know, he's running for re-election. He's 89 years old for a 6-year term. And so I think Iowans are starting to get a little skeptical about his ability to continue to perform.
Now, 538's analysis says that Republicans are just a normal polling error away from a landslide or wiping out. Explain this to me.
It's all about uncertainty at this point. And the reason we see so much uncertainty, particularly in the Senate, is because right now in our polling averages, there are 8 Senate races that are divided by 4 points or less. The average polling error in a House or Senate race is 5 or 6 points looking back decades. You know, folks have become familiar with the idea that the polls are not always spot on.
Right.
In fact, they never have been. So we have to look at the polling with the understanding that that's not going to be the actual result on Election Day. And given that 4-point gap in so many races, it could really sort of swing in Democrats' favor. And our forecast shows that we should be ready for a result where Democrats have 52 Senate seats, or the opposite, a result where Republicans have 54 Senate seats. So,
right.
Yeah, tough to say.
Could get interesting.
Yes.
Now, this race could once again come down to Georgia. So what happens if there's a runoff there?
Well, if there is a runoff there, that will take place on December 6th. The laws in Georgia are that if no one gets an outright majority, so 50% of the vote plus 1 vote, then there's a runoff. And there's a libertarian candidate. So there are 3 candidates running in theory. So if, you know, both the Democrat and the Republican get 49% of the vote, say, there will be another election in December 6th. Early voting will start on November 14th, just 1 week after midterm election day next Tuesday. And, you know, historically, we have seen in Georgia that the Republican tends to do better in the runoffs. And so our forecast shows that if it does go to a runoff, you know, Raphael Warnock, in that situation, the Democrat would have about a 30% chance of winning, whereas Herschel Walker would have about a 70% chance of winning.
Why is that?
Because it's about turnout. So historically, the voters that are likelier to turn out are a bit older, a bit whiter, a bit more plugged into sort of the ins and outs of the electoral cycle. And so, you know, younger voters, voters that contribute to the Democratic coalition aren't as likely to turn out in sort of an off-cycle election, you know, turn back out just a month later after voting. And so we've seen historically Republicans do better. I should say in 2020, that wasn't the case. There was higher turnout amongst Democrats and lower turnout amongst Republicans. So there could be some shifts going on in Georgia, but looking at it historically, that's what we see.
Okay, that's what could happen if we end up there again. Galen, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.